Welcome, welcome, welcome. You are listening to Bras, Panties and Sports. It's the NFL Divisional Playoff Weekend. We're getting close to the big game. And we already have teams that have gone fishing. Bye-bye. I'm Spitface. Please welcome our host, the First Lady of Sports Talk herself, Cheryl Smith.
Good morning. Good morning. I can't say I'm coming from sunny Florida today because it's so cold here. It's 46 degrees right now in southern Florida. I was like, oh, my gosh. I felt like I was back in New Jersey, Spitface.
Yeah, a little chilly. Right now, we like 48 here in Houston, Texas. But we're gonna jump up to 75 by the afternoon, and then tomorrow we dropping down to freezing. So hey, it is winter. It is winter. First Lady, I know that you let us know about the gambling scandal. 26 people indicted, and this gambling and college, and it's starting to be a mess, First Lady.
Yeah, it is. You have a lot of corruption now with the gamble, but what's happening is so many of these sports teams are in bed with these gambling outlets, and that's what's going on. Sports betting is a big multi-billion-dollar business, and you have all of these people that's trying to make money off of these young kids, because they can pressure them to help them to get into these illegal gambling rings. So it's really bad. They thought there was issues in the NBA, the NFL. It is all sports in general right now when it comes to the corruption and gambling with these leagues.
First Lady, I hate to say it, even bowling ain't safe. I mean, they will gamble on everything, and right now it's heading to a point where I think a lot of people got problems, and I think if the fentanyl crisis may have been deadly. Fentanyl crisis was deadly. It's a drug, but gambling can be a drug in itself. So, but there will be more to be revealed. Okay. This week on Shout Out, we have performances from Funktastic players. All right. Will they find their shining star? Get the cold feel the mute button. First Lady, we're ready. What you saying?
Each week, we try to figure out what is going on in the sports world. Not the plays of the week, more like the players of the week. Are they trying to tell us something? So we ask, what you saying? Fly, little birdie, fly. Time keeps on slipping into the future. Time keeps on slipping into the future. So I want to fly like an eagle to the sea. Fly like an eagle, let the spirit carry me. I want to fly right into the future. The little birdies known as the New York Giants are happily flapping their wings with getting Coach John Harbaugh. John Harbaugh's time without a job was so short, we're not sure that the dust has settled in the Ravens' office. Harbaugh only had 3 losing seasons in 18 years. The Giants lost several games by less than a touchdown this season. Is this a match made in football heaven? In the crazy NFC East, is it crazy to think that the Giants could go from worst to first? What happened to the Rooney Rule? George Foreman, Marvelous Marvin Hagler, both rest in peace. Bernard Hopkins, Roy Jones Jr., and the Steve Miller Band are asking, what you saying? Well, the Giants really think they have their coach, and that's their coach is going to return them to prominence. Now, of course, they could go, anybody can go from worst to first. I mean, it's happened. Believe it or not, it's happened several times. I didn't realize it's happened over like 46 times since 1968. And ironically, this year, the Patriots and the Bears did it, went from worst to first in their division. And believe it or not, Spitface, they did it again the same year in 2001. The two of them did it, that two teams, and which is not, that's interesting. I mean, there's been several teams, more than one team to do it in the same year, but for the fact that these two did it again, that's quite interesting. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't believe they will go from worst to first, and there's two reasons why. Firstly, I expect the Eagles and the Commanders to dominate the division. I mean, the Eagles are always going to try to win that division, but I also think the Commanders had an off year because of the issues they had with Jaden Daniels. So I think, the Commanders will come back. Secondly, now there's rumors that Harbaugh is bringing Todd Monken as his offensive coordinator. Now, Todd Monken also is applying for other offensive coordinator positions because there's several of them out there too. But you remember Todd Monken was the one that Lamar Jackson basically didn't, they didn't see eye to eye on their offensive schemes. And I'm not sure if Todd Monken would work with a Jackson Dart because Jackson Dart now, he's not a Lamar, but he uses his legs a lot. Dart rushed for over 487 yards, and he had 9 rushing touchdowns in 14 games. He was the third-ranked quarterback with the most rushing yards behind Allen and Herbert. And he was ranked 47th in the entire league for rushing. He actually rushed more than a lot of running backs did. So I don't know if Todd Monken is the right choice for offensive coordinator. And I really don't know if Harbaugh is a good fit for the Giants because he is so old school and resistant to change. I mean, the Giants, I know they need some stability. They need to bring in somebody who's going to improve their system. And he's going to do that, obviously, because he's only had 3 losing seasons in 18 years with the Ravens, and the Giants have had 11 losing seasons since winning the Super Bowl in 2011. The only winning season the Giants had since winning that Super Bowl in 2011 is 2012, 2016, and 2022. So I understand Harbaugh will be a tremendous upgrade and probably will bring some credibility to the Giants. I just don't think he's the right coach. I really thought they should have gone with an offensive-minded coach because you say what you want. We can say defense win games, and we'll talk about the defense when we talk about that Houston team, but the Texans. But I still think offense you need offense. And Harbaugh is not, he doesn't call offensive plays, he's not an offensive coach. And come to find out, he's not even a defense coach. So he relies very heavily on his coordinators. He's a manager of a system, but he doesn't really monitor those two areas. So Harbaugh, he puts the right people in place. And as I said, I don't think Todd Monken is the right person for Jackson Dart. To be honest with you, I really don't think he is. But you know what? He'll bring some stability to them. Now, what happened to the Rooney Rule? Well, the Rooney Rule is still in effect. Of course, the Giants interview an African American for the position. You got to do it for the Rooney Rule. I mean, a lot of them are sham interviews, but they are interviews. But to me, the interesting interviews is going to be the coaching availability with the Steelers, because we all know the Rooney Rule is basically the brainchild of the Pittsburgh Steelers' former owner, the late Dan Rooney. He fought to implement this rule, the Rooney Rule, and of course they hired a black coach, and Mike Tomlin had him for all those years. The question is now, are they going to hire another black coach, or will they go to a white coach? This is, to me, where the Rooney Rule is going to be quite interesting, because you almost feel like that the Pittsburgh Steelers have to always hire a black coach. it would look kind of crazy if they don't hire a black coach because they're the ones that pushed this Rooney Rule. So this is interesting. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with the Steelers hire. So anyway, all right, Faith, what you think about this?
Well, first with the Rooney Rule, I can get the, well, we just admitted Pittsburgh Steelers. Y'all gonna have to hire a black coach, but not so much. I go, our Asian and Latino brother, ain't none of them coaching. I go bring everybody to the party. Hey. I'm with Jesse Jackson, the Rainbow Coalition. It don't have to be a black coach, but it could be an Asian, Latin, I'm going, man, I think the last, I was going to say the last Latino coach I can think of was on the Raiders. And shoot, they messed around and went to the Super Bowl and won, but that was way back in the day.
Oh, right. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but Ron Rivera, didn't he take on? He was coaching. He was the head coach for the Commanders. That's right.
Yeah, that's right. Because the thing is, with Ron Rivera coming out of Chicago, I forgot and thought he was Polish, but but yeah, I'm going, open it up to all our brothers, and shoot, I'm looking forward to the day when it's a woman coach. Cause I done seen some of them women coaches, like in high school and stuff like that, and they rough. They rough, boy. You be like, I ain't gonna have her being mad at me, So, but I think that the Giants, I have a winning proposition with Harbaugh, and he will bring that level of stability that will have them be in the win column. And I'm sure that, whether he brings in someone he knows as offensive coordinator, I think the good part about Harbaugh is that that the people he's going to bring in will, they're the ones who are going to implement that stability. And if you Jackson Dart, whoever you got as offensive coordinator, you want someone who's steady, reliable, and is going to help you improve as a quarterback. Lamar may have been unhappy, but hey, Lamar, you get MVPs and also, you want hurting. and Dart ain't gonna be hurting. But I think that what Harbaugh will do is he will get them back to playing competitive enough where they may not go from worst to first. And certainly they won't go from worst to first. First lady, you're right, because they got the Eagles and the Commanders standing in the way. And I'm surprised that you didn't mention the Cowboys, but obviously you didn't feel they were worth mentioning. But I think it'll be a minute before the Giants will be able to climb to the top of the East. And mainly, like you said, because of the Commanders' issue with their quarterback was he got hurt. And then, he got hurt. That's the bottom line. And they just kind of fell apart. Well, hopefully the Commanders organization will go find him a good backup, because all quarterbacks are subject to getting hurt and not being able to play a couple of games. And you got to have a backup that can ride the tide for a couple of games, and may not be able to win the season, but keep you in contention if you already got a few wins. So we definitely expect the Commanders to rebound and be battling. We expect the Eagles to rebound Well, they don't have to rebound. They won, but they kind of look the way they went this season. But and then the Cowboys, which is always a mystery. We just don't know. Now, again, the Rooney Rule. But it is not crazy to think the Giants could go from worst to first. When you lose games by less than a touchdown, less than a field goal, that means you were right there. And whatever adjustments need to be made, and that might be personnel, to turn some of those into wins, you got a good shot. You got a good shot, but it will be tough because the NFC East itself is wild and crazy. And again, for the Rooney Rule, come on, where my Latin brothers at? Where my Asian brothers at? Come on, y'all got to get back into the game. We need, we need some diversity, equity, and inclusion in the NFL. Come on. That's what I'm saying, personally.
Well, I don't know too many Asian football coaches out there. I'm quite sure there's a lot of Latino, but remember at one point the NFL was 70% African American. You remember that? Anyway. But it'll be interesting. I'm definitely looking to see who the Steelers' new hire is going to be, and again, I'm not saying John Harbaugh is not a bad pick for the Giants. I just thought I would have, to me, I think going young is better right now. But when you have a franchise that's been in such a disarray for years, I do understand bringing somebody who has respect and credibility and who can stabilize the organization. But I don't think he's going to. He's going to be a bridge coach to get them stabilized, and then somebody to push them over the hump will come in. So anyway, that's really what I'm thinking. So, all right, Spitface, over to you.
Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years, rocking my peers and putting suckers in bed, making the tears rain down like a monsoon. Listen to the bass go boom. Explosion, overpowering. Over the competition, I'm powering. Wrecking shop when I drop these lyrics that'll make you call the cops. Don't you dare stare, you better move. Don't ever compare me to the rest that all get sliced and diced. Competition paying the price. I'm gonna knock you out, huh? Mama said knock you out, huh? We are talking about the knockout punch to the Pittsburgh Steelers losing 30-6 to the Houston Texans. The Steelers were playing at home with temps below 30 degrees. C.J. Stroud was a turnover machine, but the Steelers couldn't take it back. The bad man Aaron Rodgers was a mere shell of himself and behaved like an old grumpy man. Not to be confused with old grumpy radio, whose days of glory are long gone. By the way, Coach Thomas said, bye-bye. Was the game more about the Texans being on a roll or the Steelers simply being rolled over? Leroy Satchel Page, Walter Buck Leonard, and James Cool Papa Bell are asking what you saying. Tis, tis, tis. Aaron Rodgers. I will say this about Aaron Rodgers. He had a winning season with the Pittsburgh Steelers. They won their division, and they got wiped out in the playoffs. But they won their division. And that was a much better result than he had with the New York Jets. So, Aaron, go ahead, because we know you ain't coming back. You're not coming back to the Steelers, and you're not coming back to the NFL, and mainly because nobody's going to take you. You have hit the wall. Father Time has reared its ugly head, and it's time for you to count your days to get in the gold jacket, because that is what's next in your football career is a gold jacket. It is not playing. But, Aaron, I know he can blame the receivers, he can blame whatever, but dude, your ass was back there looking like a statue. And that Texans defense, just rolled you over and rolled the Steelers over. That defense was already clicking, and y'all were just the perfect team for them to keep on clicking. And to lose 30-6 at home, and with a team that's a warm weather team, and your temperatures are below 30, it just kind of says the party was over. And I won't say y'all lucked up to get to the playoffs, because the Ravens showed shot themselves in the foot several times. So, your division was just up for grabs. It was just a mess. And y'all ended up being the steady ones. But Aaron Rodgers did not have, spectacular performances, a couple of games where he just kind of showed out. No, he showed that, hey, I'm capable, and I cannot give the other team the ball, but I ain't got the magic no more. The mojo is gone. The gumbo has went sour. So, bye-bye, Aaron Rodgers. Now, if you detect a little tone, something in my tone, that's because I hate Aaron Rodgers. He played for the Green Bay Packers, and I root for the Bears, so I ain't gonna never like Aaron Rodgers. But I respect him because he whooped our butts for so many years. But the bad man, yeah, you had your time, and the time is over. And really the game was more about the Texans. It really was. Because, and that Texans defense, because CJ was sure trying to help the Steelers. Here, take them off. He was sure trying to help them. And then the defense was like, no, dog, we ain't going out like this. First Lady, what you saying?
Yeah, I mean, that game was about the Texans, the Houston Texans defense. I mean, that was a dominant, they were championship caliber defense. I mean, currently no one in the NFL that's remaining in these playoffs has a better defense than the Texans, because that's what they're going to try to hope that they can get to the Super Bowl is on that defense. I mean, they showed how you're supposed to do it. I mean, the Pittsburgh Steelers offense was so inept. Like you said, Rodgers was like a statue there. He was sacked 4 times. The Steelers only the Steelers had a total of 175 yards. That's a total between rushing the football and catching the football. 175 yards. That's ridiculous. To be honest with you, I mean, they just really shut them down. They only converted 2 out of 14 attempts on third downs. Like I said, they sacked Rodgers 4 times. And really what made me so upset, and I think I even texted to you, Spitface, during the game, the offensive coordinator for the Steelers made no adjustment. They ran the same type of offense. I mean, to have Aaron Rodgers to drop back in the pocket was not the answer. They needed to come up with some more deceptive plays to kind of fool this defense and that front line. I mean, they could have done some rollouts. I mean, I know Aaron Rodgers is not young, but darn it, he could move his feet a little bit. They should have ran some more screening. They just kept the same offense over and over again, and the Texans just really knocked them for a loop and rolled over them. I mean, the Texans defense scored more touchdowns. They scored 2 touchdowns compared to the Steelers offense scoring 0 touchdowns. And, I mean, it was ridiculous. And and CJ Stroud turned the ball over, what? He had 3 turnovers. 3 turnovers. And they couldn't capitalize off of those turnovers. I mean, it was just offensive. They just stifled them. They were stifled. I mean, it was just horrible. He was being pressure all night. Roger was pressure all night. And and like I said, the coaching, they just did not make any offensive struggle adjustments for that Texans defense. No changes, nothing. And I mean that defense, man, that defense is something else now. They're going up against a better offensive team for the division, so we'll see how they will do. But that was it. As far as it was more about the Texans, yeah. That offense, that defense is dominant. Now the offense struggled a little bit. They finally got things together, but CJ Stroud got to be much better when you're going. What's going to happen is though, I keep forgetting Denver has a tremendous defense too. So Denver's defense is no joke. So the thing is, I think Denver's offense is a lot better than the Houston offense, and especially with what's his name? Collins. Collins I don't know if he's injured. Nico, right? He might be injured. So he's one of their deep threats. So anyway, I just think that the Texans really have, they started off rough, didn't they lose the first 3 games of the season? I believe they lost their first 3 games of the season.
They went 0-3. You're right.
They went 0-3. They went 0-3, and they really have been a hot team, but it's definitely that defense. And when you have a strong defense like that, you can always stay in the game. And the Texans, but I don't think they're going to win against the Broncos. We'll talk about that later when we do our picks. But you got to give kudos to that Texan defense. They are definitely a strong. They have a Super Bowl caliber defense, and they can go up against anybody, and they can win any game because of that defense. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, First Lady, when you can pick up the slack for your offense, giving the ball away, you're pretty good. You got a shot, with whoever you play. All right, First Lady, you have the last word. Please take us to break.
Stay tuned. Up next, we have a performance from Funktastic Players on Shout Out Part 1.
I'm feeling funky now. The music flows in from around the globe to get a shout out from the panel. First Lady, I can't wait to hear the music from Funktastic Players.
On Shout Out, we feature new independent artists who are looking to find their shining star. If we like what we hear, we'll give the track a shout out. If we don't like it, we hit the mute. We are featuring music from Funktastic Players and their hit album, Get Up Off of That Thing. Sound like James Brown. They say we are the perfect blend of the 70s soul, 80s hip-hop, and contemporary jazz. Imagine Maceo Parker, Gerald Albright, and Tribe Called Quest formed a group. That would be the best way to describe the mighty Funktastic Players. All right, let's hear all 3 of those groups and bands and people, and let's hear Funky Baby Blues.
Funktastic, play it! Funktastic, play it. Funky soul music. That's the beat. Horn, blow.
All right. Okay. That's the Funktastic Players. All right. So yeah, they resemble Maceo Maceo Parker, definitely. You know, Maceo Parker was basically the band leader for James Brown. So that's why I said they got that James Brown effect, and that's why that song is what they say, Funky Baby Blues. So I'm going to shout it out, Spitface. You know, it's a little bit dated, but it's dated from this, but they don't care. They play music from the 70s, 80s. That's their sound. So I'm definitely going to shout it out. Funky Baby Blues. Are you shouting it out, or are you hitting the mute button?
I'm giving it a shout out. Made me want to go to the jazz club and have dinner and listen to a little music tonight. That's got a music you can sit back and go to a club, have a nice little dinner, and get a little groove, a little fun going on, and have a couple of drinks, and you done had you a nice evening. I'm shouting it out.
All right. So on part 2 of Shout Out, we'll feature another performance from Funktastic Players. Is that the sound of our favorite underwater friend? Is it time for Flip It?
No one you see is smarter than you, and we know we're missing a world full of wonder, flying there on there, kind of
All right, time for Flip It, where our hosts defend the point and then flip the script and defend the other point of view. The Hurricanes are going up against the Hoosiers for the College Football National Championship. The Canes are 10-point underdog. We wonder, will they upset the Hoosiers? So we defend. Miami will upset the Hoosiers. They got hot at the right time. Who would have thunk it that the Hurricanes would be playing of the national championship. I mean, they were one of them underdogs who was like a couple of rounds ago. They should have been wiped out, but they prevailed. And when you are a team that has been counted out, but you keep coming back and winning, you got to watch that team. You got to watch that team because they're doing something where they're beating the odds, and the odds are against them. You know, when you're a 10-point underdog, they didn't set that point line, just arbitrarily. You know, they looked and they said, they said the Hoosiers will, kind of whoop them up. But you gotta look at what got the Canes there. What got them there was upset. All they've been doing is upsetting their competition and playing above. And in college, when you got that upset mentality, you can beat anybody. You can beat anybody. And at this point, for them to be where they are, who just got to watch out? They got to watch out because Miami is hungry. They ready. And, the college football world has anointed the Hoosiers. And I done learned something. Those anointed teams are the ones that get knocked off the top. First Lady defend. Everything points Hoosiers, but the intangibles will give Miami the upset. First Lady?
Yeah, sorry, I had a little tech problem there. Yeah, everybody keep canceling the Miami Hurricane out. Like you said, saying they probably shouldn't have been there. Notre Dame should have been there, even though they beat Notre Dame head to head. So that's why they're here, and they're proving everybody wrong. We all know that the U was one of the most dominant teams in the 80s and in the 90s. They had a very steep fall off, but Mario Cristobal has brought them back. And the reason why they can beat the Indiana Hoosier is because we just talked about the Houston Texans and their elite defense. Well, the Miami Hurricanes, they have an elite defense. They have edge rushers. They have Reuben Bain Jr. They have Akeem Mesidor. These guys disrupt quarterback. They get after the quarterbacks, and they're going to get after Mendoza, because Fernando Mendoza is a good quarterback. He's the Heisman Trophy winner, but he hasn't felt the pressure like he's going to feel from the Miami Hurricanes. And they know how to disrupt the rushing defense. They have one of the best rushing defense. And on the other side, too, from an offensive point of view, they have a great offensive line. You see how they just stomp teams by the rush. They rush, and that's how they're able to get downfield. And they have playmakers, too. Carson Beck, I'm not going to say he's the best quarterback on the field. I'm quite sure Mendoza is probably better. But Carson Beck, he's a winner. He's won with Georgia. He's doing the right things with the Hurricanes. But he can make the plays that needs to be made. And they have playmakers. Malachi Tony, that's a bad brother. That young kid is something else. I mean, he makes a lot of plays after he receives the ball. So, I just think the Hurricanes have what it takes from a defensive point of view and from an offense. And Mario Cristobal, he was an offensive tackle for the Miami Hurricanes, and he won 2 national championships under Jimmy Johnson. So he knows what it takes to win, and you have to win in the trenches. And that's why he built that defensive line and that offensive line the way he did. And that's what's going to happen to the Indiana Hoosiers. They just haven't come up against a defense like the Miami Hurricanes. So that's why they are going to win this game. And there is no fluke. They deserve to be here. It's no
okay, all right. You said, all right. Well, let's flip it. The Canes 1 second here. The Canes did some. All right. Let's remember the Canes had a great season, but Indiana had a history-making season. They will not be upset. No, Fernando Mendoza has just played head and shoulders above the other quarterbacks, and that's why he won the Heisman, because he was doing that. And, you know, you look at some of the teams that they beat, and the Big Ten was strong this year, but they went out and whooped up on Oregon and Ohio State. The Mighty Ducks was flapping around, losing. And they have put together a team that has finally gained the respect of the college football world, and deservedly so. Now, Miami has been hot. They've been playing, but these Hoosiers got, you know, one, they got the main man, they got Fernando, and they carrying a good defense along with them also. So, Miami, you know, you all right, but First Lady defend. You won't upset those Hoosiers.
You know, I look at this game between Miami Hurricanes and the Indiana Hoosiers similar to what the Texans and the Broncos game is going to be like, because both of these institutions have great defenses. I mean, Futures have a dominant defense too, you know, and they are a turnover machine. They force a lot of turnovers, and they pressure the quarterback also, similar to what Miami does. So it's going to, and they, you know, they got a lot of big guys in the trenches. You know, they got a strong offensive line. So again, Miami got a strong defensive line. So this is going to be a war, to be honest with you. And it's going to be who wins the trenches. And I think right now, the Indiana Hoosiers, their formula to win is going to be the fact that they have the Heisman Trophy winner in Fernando Mendoza. He is a cut above Carson Beck. So I can, you know, if I have to make a choice, I can depend on Mendoza to be the difference maker in this particular, to me, even matched team from a defensive point of view and from that offensive line point of view. But Mendoza is the difference. And, you know, they're a team, you know, Kurt Cinetti has this team very disciplined. They don't make that many mistakes. Now, the Hurricanes have a tendency to make some dumb fouls, and they make some mistakes. And, you know, I raved about my colleague, Tony, but sometimes he can turn the ball over. Carson Beck can throw some interceptions. So, you know, that's going to see what happens with this defense, because obviously the Hurricanes are coming up against a strong defensive team too, probably the best team they face. So it's going to be interesting to see how they be able to run their offense. And like I said, they do make a lot of mistakes, whereas the Indiana Hoosiers, they don't make too much mistake. They only had like one fumble all season. That's a lot. One fumble, that's a fantastic turnover ratio. So that, you know, they are very disciplined. They're a much older team. You know, he built this Kurt Cinetti, you know, he recruited players that have been playing college football for a long time. You know, their players are in their 20s, like 23, 24. They've been here for a while. So they have the experience, you know, they are battle-tested experience. So, you know, they remain number one seed the entire season, and they played a lot of top 10 teams. So I expect them to beat the Hurricanes, and it's not going to be no upset. Definitely not.
All right, First Lady, over to you for more flipping.
The Bills beat the Jaguars 27-24 to advance in the playoffs. But we wonder, will they prove to be pretenders? All right, Spitface, defend. The Bills will prove to be pretenders.
when you look at the Bills season, the Bills started out, I should say, preseason. They were anointed as the team that would easily win the AFC East. They were going to just dominate that division. And it's Josh Allen's year. It's the Bills' year. They were going to beat up on the mighty Kansas City Chiefs and move on and finally get to that big game. Well, didn't quite turn out that way because the Patriots won the division. And the Bills have had to overly rely on Josh Allen to be Superman. And therein be the issue, is that Josh Allen may be ready, but the rest of the team is pretending. Because they've had to put the weight on him. Now, it's not like, I'll put it like this, with Patrick Mahomes, he was the guy that, could break your heart. But they didn't have to put all the weight on Mahomes. People were stepping up. And, Kelsey was stepping up. He had people who like, hey, look, they were like, give me the ball. I got you, boy. I got your back. Josh ain't got that. And one of the things where it showed was they barely beat the Jaguars. The Jaguars had chances to just win that game. And so the Bills got out of there by their chinny chin chin. And now they're going to have to go and face the Broncos. And the Broncos ain't the Jaguars. They got a strong offense, and they got a defense that's Super Bowl ready. So all their flaws will start to be laid bare in that Broncos game. And we will look and see that they really were pretenders.
All right. Because of that, they really were pretenders. Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. You had said that Josh Allen, they relied too much on Josh Allen. Yeah, he has to always be Superman for the Bills to win. And he was Superman during that game against the Jaguars. Like you said, they just escaped winning against the Jaguars. Game may have been tied or could have won the game if their kicker had made that field goal in the first half. He missed that field goal. That was a problem. Trevor Lawrence threw the interception. So, the Bills this year basically won close games, and they won close games, not because they were the better team. I just think sometimes you get lucky sometimes. And their offense has been very inconsistent. They sometimes struggle with, scoring. He doesn't have the playmakers and the receivers that would scare somebody, to scare a team. Their defense has been the problem. They can't stop the run, and teams have ran over them when it comes to the rushing yards. So they have some issues. And I just think they've been a little bit pedestrian with their play calling, very, very conservative and at crucial moments within the game. So they just have Josh Allen. Let's face it. They just have Josh Allen. Josh Allen has to be Superman. And he's not going to be Superman because I'm quite sure Sean Payton is going to have a field plan to deal with Josh Allen. So Sean Payton is an excellent coach, and he knows how to he knows how to game plan to take away certain things on the offensive side from Josh Allen. So that's why, they were able to get this far. They were supposed to, like you said, this was the year they were supposed to go to the Super Bowl because they didn't have Mahomes, Lamar. Those teams were not there. Joe Burrow. So really there was no excuse for them, but they still struggled the entire entire year, and we'll see because when they lose this game against the Broncos, not the Broncos, they're playing the Broncos. When they lose this game against the Broncos, no, who are they playing? They're playing
the Broncos.
Oh, right, the Broncos. Yeah, the Broncos. So when they lose this game against the Broncos, I don't know why I thought the Texans were playing the Broncos. No, the Bills are playing the Broncos. The Texans are playing the Patriots. But anyway, when they lose this game against the Broncos, Sean McDermott's job may be available because we still have some coaching jobs that are going to be up for grabs. It's not over. It's not over. And we shall see because I think, are they playing Saturday? If they're playing Saturday, yeah, this is we may have another coach joining the ranks. Join the ranks of jobs being available. So we will see. Well, let's flip it. The Bills advanced. The Jaguars didn't. They're not pretenders. All right, Spitface defend. The Bills are not pretenders.
There's an old statement by the tuna, which is you are who your record says you are. So whether you won by 1 point, whether you won because Superman put his cape on, well, whether you won because you got lucky, you won. And if you are winning, you are not pretending. You're winning. And the Bills are winning. And I go, Broncos, you better watch out. You better watch out. One thing is that you might plan for Superman, but unless you got some kryptonite, he coming for you. And the Broncos may struggle to find some kryptonite to stop Josh Allen because Josh got to have it. And one of the things that, there's the mile high advantage, because of the altitude. But cold, difficult weather conditions, you're talking about the Bills. That ain't no problem. They play in that. That's like their fun day. It's a little cold, snowing, blah, blah, blah. That's their fun day. So that weather will not be a factor. And but having to stop Josh Allen's legs and his passing, that will be a factor. And given that they're in the game, they are not pretenders. And if the Broncos don't watch out, the problem will not be the Bills. The problem will be Bo Nix, not being able to do what he normally does. And because Bills Mafia, that defense will get up after him. But they are not pretenders. They advance. They beat a division winner. And they've been there before. So, watch out, Broncos. Watch out. That's what I'm saying, First Lady. They ain't pretenders.
Watch out. Okay. Well, you know what? They're contenders and they're not pretenders because they have a history. I mean, they have that playoff mentality. They've been there before. So, I mean, they actually beat the Broncos last year. It wasn't a divisional game. I think it was the wild card game, and Denver won the Bills beat Denver. Remember, Denver had not made it to the playoffs in years, and they got there, but they didn't do well against the Bills. So, I mean, Josh Allen has their numbers, number one, and he is the MVP caliber quarterback that he's going to, he can handily win a game for them and beat the Broncos. Now, the only thing, the defense is not as great as, obviously they can't stop the rush, but their corners and their safeties are, their secondary is not bad at all. They actually have a great rushing attack too, because they can control the offense. So that's something that with Josh Allen rushing, he is the best rushing quarterback in the league. And who's they got? James Cook. James Cook, you know, he's the number one rushing back as far as yards this year. So they can do it. But it's all going to come down to Superman. He's going to be the one to dictate how this game is going to go. And I just don't think the Broncos could stop Josh Allen. And again, the fact that they won last year against this team, you know, the team is going to be Bo Nick's second time in the playoffs, but you know he's going against Josh Allen, so there's always going to be some nerves, and you know they're the team that has to beat the team that's been there already. And I just don't think that the Broncos can do it. And that's why, you know, I mean, the Bills, they're not pretenders. They are going to definitely be a contender, and they're going to win that game. All right, Spitface, please take us to break.
Well, on the other side of the break, we have another performance from Funktastic Players. On Shout Out Part 2, please keep your ears glued to those speakers.
Welcome back. The music flows from around the globe to get a shout-out from the crew. Spitface, over to you.
All right. On the second part of shout-out, we are featuring another track from Funktastic Players. Let's hear the title track from their album, Get Up Off of That Thing. All right, DJ.
We're back. Yeah, we're back. We're back. The mighty Funktastic Players. Yeah. Get it. So funky. Yeah. Say get up off of that thing and dance you better. Say get up off of that thing. Get
All right, get up off of that thing. Made me want to go get my shiny shoes so I could glide across the dance floor. First Lady, what's the verdict? Is get up off of that thing, getting a shout out of the mute button.
Yeah, I'm going to shout it out. Definitely remake of James Brown, Get Off That Thing, and You Do the New Better. Yeah, they did it. I'm not going to say they did it better, but they did it great. So anyway, I'm going to give them a shout out.
All right. Firstly, I'm giving it a shout out too. They're just a fun group. And just as a side note, Billboard, which, has been around forever, and for the first time in 25 years was a long time, no rap artist made the top 40.
Right.
And yeah, that is wild.
I saw that stat. That tells us that it was actually rap and hip hop too. Well, no, because I don't know how they classify. R&B was not classified because I think, if I'm not mistaken, Chris Brown made it with Mutt. But I had saw that stat before, and I was kind of taken back by that. That was quite interesting. So what does that say? That people are falling out of love with rap and hip-hop, or they just not making good music? I don't know what it is.
I put it like this. I hope they don't try to blame AI. But hey, everything has an era. Everything has an era, and we shall see. All right, well, this is the end of shout out for this week. You can check out Funktastic Players on the Old Grumpy Radio Network. If you would like to be heard or have any comments, please send your emails and tracks to talent@oldgrumpyradio.com. First Lady, over to you.
All right, it's time for the Pigskin Picks. NFL picks Divisional playoff weekend 2020. Well, we're in 2026 now, but it's the 2025 season. So last week, Spitface, you had a marvelous turnaround. You remember the week before, you were like a negative 80? Well, guess what? You led with 105 million points. DizzieMac had 55 million points. I came in at a negative 25 million points, and that's because I picked them darn Pittsburgh Steelers. But thank God I had some wins on some of the other ones, because they would have been because that was 50 million points altogether. But we got some tough ones coming up. But anyway, so where are we currently? Well, DizzieMac is back in the lead at 79.750,000 million points. I think I'm saying that right. Spitface, you're in second with 24.725 million, and I'm in third, 21.725. So let's get to the Saturday mix. The Bills versus the Broncos. Yeah, I kept mixing up the teams with the Bills playing the Broncos, and I thought the Bills were actually playing the Texans were playing the Broncos. I kept talking about their defenses was going to go hit them, but no, I had it wrong. The Bills are playing the Broncos. So who do I have? Spitface, I'm going with the Broncos. I just see them. It's third time. They lost last year to the Bills. I don't see them losing again. We'll get DizzieMac's picks. Spitface, who do you have?
I'm going with the Horsies.
All right. 49ers and Seahawks. Who do you have, Spitface?
This might be a really fun game. I got to go with that Seahawks defense.
Yeah. The 49ers are even hurt more. I mean, they're just falling apart. And even though they said Sam Darnold might be injured too, even though he's going to play, but they said they was talking about it all morning that he might have a little injury, but I'm going to go with the Seahawks. All right, Texans versus the Patriots. I am going this one. I'm going with the Patriots. I just think, what's his name? Drake May is no Aaron Rodgers. He's not a statue standing back there. There is a difference. There is a difference. All right, Spitface, who do you have?
I'm rolling with the Texans. I just think that the defense. If I'm just thinking that C.J. Stroud will not turn over the ball 3 times, and the Texans defense will be able to contain Drake May.
All right, Rams versus the Bears. Spitface, who do you have?
The Bears.
All right, I'm going with the Rams. I just think that offense, Bears defense is not great. Their offense is good, but I'm going to go with definitely the Rams. All right, we got the college, Monday night NCAA college football championship. I forgot to mention, Sunday winners and loser was worth $50 million, and Saturday mix was 25 million points. All right, the college football championship is worth 50 million points. Miami versus Indiana. I am going to go. My heart is with Miami, but my brain tells me Indiana. Like, I need those 50 million points. I got to go where I think who's going to win. All right, Spitface, who do you have?
Now, I have a long-standing dislike for Hoosiers. And coming out of, since I went to the University of Illinois, we do not like Indiana. But I got to give it to them this year, so I'm rolling with them Hoosiers. Don't tell nobody.
I hear you. Yeah, I shouldn't let anybody know I'm rooting. Oh, I'm not rooting for Indiana. I just said I need them. I think they're going to win. That's the only reason why I'm choosing them. All right. Let's get to the over and under push props. Josh Allen, 1 interception. Spitface. Over under push. All right, these are worth 25 million points. I'm going to put under. Brock Purdy, 1 interception. I'm going to say under. Spitface.
I'm going to go under.
All right. DJ Stroud, 1 interception. Spitface.
I'm actually going to go under.
I'm going to go push. Matt Stafford. This is the tough one to me. 2 passing touchdowns. Oh, the question is, and who are they playing? They're playing the Bears. I'm going to go over. I want to go push, but I'm going to go over. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Spitface?
I'm going over for the same reason. And Matt Stafford has played in Detroit forever, and he has had to play in Soldier Field every season until he went to the Rams. So, he is not going to be bothered by Soldier Field, and him and his boy, Nakua, they're going to score some points. They're going to score some points.
All right. Let's see. Caleb Williams, 250 passing yards. Spitface?
I'm going to say under.
Okay. Under. I'm going to say over because, like I said, I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Bo Nix, 200 yards passing. I'm going to say over. Spitface?
I'm going over.
All right. Sam Darnold, 2 touchdown passing. Spitface?
I'm going to go over.
You're going to go over. I'm going to go push. Drake made 3 touchdown passing. I'm going to go under. Spitface?
I'm going under.
Under. All right. So we will see how we do with our picks. We're winding down. All right. What is your top story to watch this week, Spitface?
where does Mike McDaniel land? Because if he goes to Detroit, that could be interesting.
As a offensive coordinator.
Yep.
Okay. My top story to watch is hopefully this week, who will be interviewing for the Pittsburgh Steelers job? As I already hinted, do they feel obligated that they got to pick a black coach? I will know by how many black people are interviewing for this job, so it's going to leak out. It's definitely going to leak out. So anyway, that's my top story to watch this week. All right, check out our current and previous episodes at Bras, Panties and Sports.com. This is Cheryl Smith, the First Lady of Sports Talk at Spitface. You have been listening to Bras, Panties and Sports. See you next week.